Canadians must choose between giant douche and turd sandwich, again. It's looking like Canadians are gearing up to head to the polls yet again. As if the race for Prime Minister couldn't have been made any easier by the ousted Justin Trudeau. Canadian citizens are so eager for change that they could care less about their options between a giant douche and turd sandwich. Just make sure it isn't Justin, which seems to be playing right into the hands of the wealthy globalist agenda. One must wonder whether the downfall of Trudeau was just a guise to cue up the next young leader from the World Economic Forum, with close WEF ties amongst most, if not all, the current potential frontrunners for the country's top leadership position. The ruse known as our democratic system is beginning to reveal itself day by day. What I'm sure many Canadians already know: the system is rigged, the table is tilted. The late great George Carlin shared some words of wisdom which are still as relevant today as they were 20 years ago, albeit specifically regarding Canada's neighbours to the south. This level of wisdom seems applicable to most, if not all, developed democratic countries this day and age.
But there's a reason. There's a reason for this. There's a reason education sucks, and it's the same reason that it will never, ever, ever be fixed. It's never going to get any better. Don't look for it. Be happy with what you got. Because the owners of this country don't want that. I'm talking about the real owners now. The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And they own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right. They don't want people who are smart enough to sit around the kitchen table and figure out how badly they're getting fucked by a system that threw them overboard 30 fucking years ago. They don't want that. You know what they want? They want obedient workers. Obedient workers. People who are just smart enough to run the machines and do the paperwork, and just dumb enough to passively accept all these increasingly shittier jobs with the lower pay, the longer hours, the reduced benefits, the end of overtime, and the vanishing pension that disappears the minute you go to collect it. And now they're coming for your Social Security money. They want your fucking retirement money. They want it back, so they can give it to their criminal friends on Wall Street. And you know something? They'll get it. They'll get it all from you sooner or later, because they own this fucking place. It's a big club, and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. And by the way, it's the same big club they used to beat you over the head with all day long when they tell you what to believe. All day long, beating you over the head in their media, telling you what to believe, what to think, and what to buy. The table is tilted, folks. The game is rigged. And nobody seems to notice. Nobody seems to care. Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all. At all. At all. Man, you know? And nobody seems to notice, nobody seems to care. That's what the owners count on, the fact that Americans will probably remain willfully ignorant of the big red, white, and blue dick that's being jammed up their assholes every day. Because the owners of this country know the truth. It's called the American dream, because you have to be asleep to believe it.
When will the circus end? What will it take to bring this big top down? Will Canadians accept their options between a giant douche and turd sandwich this election season, or are they finally realizing just what George Carlin was enlightening us about? Their globalist system is in full swing, working just as it is meant to, continually widening the gap between the rich and the poor. Career politicians, big banker insiders, and two-faced liars who will say anything to continue feasting away at the taxpayer trough like the greedy pigs that they are. Is this the type of leadership that can be trusted to bring this once great country back on its feet, Or will they continue to line the pockets of their globalist buddies, their corporate owners? What are your thoughts on the options for the upcoming Canadian federal election? Do you feel like Canada has any choice at all at this point? Who can be trusted? Is Canada long overdue for a reset to truly get its backbone back? Canadian voices were strengthening more than they would have liked to have seen with the trucker convoy. Was that simply the tip of the iceberg of Canadian nationalism on full display at every overpass from BC to Ottawa? Invoking the Emergency War Measures Act to put an end to it certainly shows just how desperate they were to silence it. Is it Canada's time to shine? Will Canada demonstrate to the rest of the world how to flush this fecal matter once and for all? Or will they be signing up for another 4 years of scandal, after scandal, with little to no accountability whatsoever? Share your comments below and be sure to like our video and subscribe.